You probably already know what it feels like. Rereading old messages, not because you expect anything new, but because they still make you feel something. Scrolling back to that one conversation that ended too soon, wondering if maybe you said something wrong. Checking your phone, hoping maybe this time it'll light up. And when it doesn't, you tell yourself they're just busy, even though you know that silence usually means it's over. Most days you don't need grand gestures, you just want simple closeness, a real hug, someone who stays. That's what being a hopeless romantic feels like. Loving deeply, forgiving easily, hoping endlessly. You don't love halfway, you give all of it, even when the world tells you to be more detached. You've probably tried to be heartless to protect yourself, but you know that isn't who you are. You care too much, even when it hurts. You aren't naive, you just feel everything fully. You don't romanticize because you live in fantasy. You do it because you need meaning. You need love to feel like something real, something that changes you a little. And yeah, it stings sometimes, because when you love like this, you end up feeling everything more deeply. The excitement, the connection, and the loss. But even when it hurts, you don't stop, because you'd rather be real than be numb. Most people move on fast. They process love like it's just another memory, something that starts, ends, and gets replaced. But you don't. You save conversations, replay moments, read meaning into small things. The song that played, the way they said your name, a random coincidence that still feels like fate. Because for you, love isn't supposed to fade that easily. You still believe in the version that's honest, patient, and rare. Maybe you also feel behind. No first kiss yet, or not much dating history, and part of you wants to rush just to catch up. You might even compare yourself to everyone around you, friends already in relationships, people who seem to find love easily, and wonder if there's something wrong with you. But it's not that you're late, it's that you want it to matter. You'd rather wait for something genuine than rush into something that leaves you empty. Because you don't want just someone, you want the right one. Being this way can feel lonely sometimes. You scroll through stories, see everyone coupling up, and start to think maybe you're the only one who still believes in slow, honest love. But you're not. There are more of your people than you think. The ones who clicked on the videos like this instantly. The ones who are building a life they love and trusting love to meet them there. Because if you want butterflies, you don't chase them with a net. You build a garden and let them come. So maybe the question isn't why you love this way. Maybe it's why you can't seem to stop. Why some people, like you, keep loving endlessly, idealistically, even when it hurts. Psychology has a few answers. For a lot of hopeless romantics, the story starts early. Maybe you grew up with love that wasn't always consistent, the kind that showed up sometimes and disappeared when you needed it most. One day it was warm and safe. The next day, it felt out of reach. That kind of experience shapes the way you attach to people. In psychology, it's called an anxious, preoccupied attachment style. You crave closeness, but you're also afraid it won't last. You overthink small changes, replay conversations, and try to earn reassurance. You learn that love was something you had to deserve. So now, when you finally feel it, you give everything. Freud described this as repetition compulsion, the tendency to repeat old emotional patterns, even painful ones, in the hope of changing the ending. That's why some people keep falling for the same kind of unavailable love over and over again. You're not addicted to heartbreak. You're addicted to the hope that this time it might finally end differently. There's also something called intermittent reinforcement. It means when affection comes unpredictably, a good text after days of silence, or a compliment after a cold moment, the brain starts to crave it more. It's the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive. You never know when the reward is coming, so you stay emotionally invested. Now we will see how it works on a neurological level. Romantic attraction activates the same neural pathways as addiction. When you fall for someone, your brain doesn't just feel emotional, it becomes chemically involved. Dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin all surge during early attraction. Dopamine gives you that rush, the excitement, the energy, the sense that this person is special. Oxytocin deepens emotional bonding. It's sometimes called the cuddle hormone because it's released through touch, eye contact, and intimacy. Serotonin balances mood and creates a sense of calm and satisfaction, that feeling of comfort when you're close to someone you trust. These chemicals make love feel rewarding, which is why being around the person you like feels almost like a high. Your brain links them to pleasure, so you start craving the presence, the messages, the attention, just like you'd crave any other reward. But here's the tricky part. Uncertainty actually intensifies it. When love feels unpredictable, when you're not sure how the other person feels, or when communication is inconsistent, your brain releases even more dopamine. This is what psychologists call a reward prediction error. When a reward, like affection or validation, arrives unexpectedly, your brain sees it as more valuable and doubles the chemical payoff. So that random text after hours of silence, that sudden compliment after a distant week, it hits harder. It feels meaningful, even if it's inconsistent, because your brain is wired to chase what feels rare. That's why love that's uncertain can feel the most intoxicating. The highs are higher, the lows are crushing, and the cycle keeps repeating. Not because you're addicted to the person, but because your brain has started linking hope itself to pleasure. It's the same loop that drives gambling or addiction. The unpredictability keeps you hooked. Only in this case, the gamble isn't money, it's emotion. You don't love recklessly, you love completely, and the brain mistakes that intensity for destiny. Hopeless romantics experience love as a story, not just a feeling. They assign meaning to moments, a certain look, a song, a coincidence, as if every detail is part of a bigger pattern. This kind of thinking comes from high emotional intelligence and something called cognitive empathy, the ability to sense and interpret subtle emotional cues. You notice meaning in small things that others dismiss, because your brain naturally links feeling with story. But there's a catch. Narrative thinking can also trigger confirmation bias. You start seeing only what fits the story you want to believe, and ignoring the rest. So when someone pulls away, you tell yourself they're just scared, not that they've lost interest. Your heart keeps writing chapters long after the book has closed. Psychologists describe defense mechanisms as the mind's way of protecting us from pain. For hopeless romantics, these defenses often show up quietly in how they handle love. One of the most common is denial. It's the mind's way of softening what's too painful to face. When someone pulls away, you tell yourself they just need time. When they stop reaching out, you convince yourself they'll come back when things calm down. It's not delusion, it's protection. Denial lets you hold on to hope a little longer, even when part of you already knows how the story ends. It keeps you from collapsing too soon, but it also delays the healing that would eventually set you free. Then there's projection, which happens when your own feelings become so strong that you start to see them reflected in the other person. You assume they must feel it too, the same intensity, the same pull, because it's hard to imagine that something so powerful could be one-sided. In a way, projection creates emotional symmetry. It keeps the connection alive in your mind, even if it never existed quite that way in reality. And finally, there's idealization. It's what makes you focus on someone's best moments while quietly ignoring the rest. You replay their kindness, their attention, their promises, and filter out everything that doesn't match the version of them you fell for. It's not blindness, it's fear. The fear that if you see them clearly, the illusion might break and you'd lose the comfort that comes with believing this love could still be perfect. These defenses aren't signs of weakness, they're survival tools. They let you keep believing in love long enough to feel it fully, even if it ends up hurting. They buy you time to accept, to adjust, and eventually to let go. Hopeless romantics often project their own emotional depth onto others. In psychology, that's called mirroring. You see the parts of yourself that you love, your warmth, your loyalty, your sensitivity, reflected back in someone else, and that reflection makes you fall harder. Jung's anima and animus theory fits perfectly here. He believed everyone carries an inner image of their ideal partner, a reflection of their own missing parts. Hopeless romantics don't just fall in love with people, they fall for that reflection, the version of themselves they see in someone else. There's a psychological term for the intensity that follows: limerence. It's the state of being emotionally fixated on someone, daydreaming about them, replaying moments, and idealizing the connection. It feels like falling in love, but often it's a love story that mostly exists in your own mind. It's powerful, addictive, and often feels spiritual, even when it's one-sided. When real relationships feel unstable, hopeless romantics turn to imagination. It's a way to regulate emotion, to make chaos feel predictable. It's not about escape, it's about control. In your mind, the story can go the way it was meant to. Psychologists call this sublimation, redirecting emotional energy into something creative. That's why so many hopeless romantics write, paint, sing, or daydream. You're turning feeling into something tangible. When the world feels unkind, you rebuild it in your imagination until it feels gentle again. Carl Rogers, a humanistic psychologist, believed what people crave most isn't perfection, but acceptance, to be fully seen and still chosen. That's exactly what hopeless romantics are searching for. Love that doesn't ask them to tone down who they are. Sometimes this depth leads to what's called self-concept fusion, where your sense of worth becomes tied to whether someone loves you back. You don't just want love, you want to be understood, to be seen the way you see others. Hopeless romantics love openly. They share their heart too early, too completely, and often with people who aren't ready for that kind of intensity. And when it ends, they blame themselves. This cognitive distortion is called self-blame. It creates a cycle: give too much, feel unseen, retreat, then try again with someone new. You tell yourself it'll be different next time, but deep down, you know you'd love the same way again anyway. But the truth is, you're not too much. Your love is not wrong. You just want connection that feels all in. You just love loudly in a world that whispers. If you've ever been told you expect too much, feel too deeply, or love too hard, maybe it's not that you're unrealistic. Maybe you just remember what love is supposed to feel like. You've probably been told to lower your expectations or to stop overthinking it. But what most people don't realize is that your expectations come from sincerity, not fantasy. You don't want perfection, you want honesty. You want connection that feels real, conversations that don't feel like games, someone who meets you halfway without you having to ask. Hopeless romantics are often misunderstood because they love in a way that's rare. They're not fragile, they're emotionally intelligent. They notice details other people miss, small shifts in tone, subtle signs of distance, things most people would overlook. They care deeply because they can't help but feel deeply. And yes, that sensitivity hurts sometimes, but it's also what makes them empathetic, creative, and kind. You see beauty where others see ordinary. You find meaning in moments other people forget. And even after heartbreak, you still choose to believe in love. Not because it's easy, but because you can't imagine living any other way. Hopeless romantics get disappointed more often, but they also experience love in its purest form. Raw, real, alive. You don't just want someone to stay, you want someone to feel with you. And that desire for depth, for truth, for emotional honesty, that's what makes your kind of love different. So if you've ever wondered why you care so much, why you still believe after everything you've been through, it's because a part of you still trusts that real love exists. And it does.